If you're going to submit a link, you can do so using our Office 365 account. And I can show you guys how to work that as well, if you would like, because some people don't have all of these softwares on their computers anymore because everything is in the cloud. This looks really good. And so when you're in your classroom, we can go to, well, you could go either to Office 365 or your email. So if we click on Office 365, this is going to link us right to our OneDrive. And your OneDrive is oh, I got to log in. Let's see. Your OneDrive, oh no, authentication. Here, I'll go in through my email first and get it logged in. But your OneDrive is just like a Google Drive. It holds anything you want it to, except instead of using Google Slides, it uses PowerPoint. Instead of using, let's get off of that. Instead of using Google Doc, it uses Word. So, Excel instead of, what do they call it? Google Sheets. So it's the same, but different. I don't know if it's going to oh, it's because I'm in as a student. Okay, watch. Let me leave student view. I don't have anything in mind that's to be hidden. Okay. So if I go to Office 365, oh, I am there. So see, it has anything that I've ever saved into my OneDrive. So I could just come here to Office 365 and connect it. And I do believe actually if you do your work inside of there, that you can get it directly from your OneDrive to submit it. So you could go, let's go back to student view. So we could go back to modules and we'll go to a different project where I haven't submitted something fake. Conversar. What's really funny is then I get confused because there's someone in there called quote unquote test student, and that's me going in and submitting random things when we have these meetings. Okay, here it is. Notice it says Office 365. When you go into the submit the assignment, go to Office 365 and it pulls up your account. It won't now because, like I said, I'm in as a student, and when I'm the test student, I don't have an account. But if I were myself right now, it would give me a list of things that I could just upload directly from my OneDrive. And to do that, so let's say you're an email, and we're going to go to the waffle up here in the top left-hand corner. And once you do that, you can go to your OneDrive, which is right here. And then you can put things in here. And notice this is the same list. So anything you have in here, you can just directly, you just put it, you can create it in here actually. So if I'm in my OneDrive, or if I come over here and do something, for example, in Word, it's automatically saving it to my OneDrive, and I just have to name it something to where I can, tell what it is. The best way to do it, of course, is to be specific with what project you're working on. So let's pretend we're doing Proyecto La Familia y las Profesiones. There we go. So see, it saved it. And so then if we come in here and we're trying to upload it, I'm going to look for that particular project. Does that make sense? So you can create all of these things, and now we could see it. Like, let's say I go back here. If I go back into my OneDrive, it's just like a Google Drive, and I should be able to find this document right here pretty quickly. Let's see if we organize it by date. It should be right here at the top. Yes, and Claire, that's exactly right. The thing is, for an assignment like that, and it says in one place somewhere in the course content that needs to be in English. The Dia de los Muertos assignment is supposed to be done in English. Yeah, I don't expect you guys to be able to say all of that in Spanish at all. From the discussion? Let me go in and look at those discussions. You know, you're not the only student that said that to me. And the issue with discussions, well, it used to be, you know, that Canvas is new to us. So I'm not sure if it's going to prompt me if you guys edit. I don't think it's notifying me when somebody edits what they have. So I'm going to have to take note of all of the people because I know that there's been a couple of kids that have said, hey, I've, you know, I made some changes to my discussion. Can you take a look at that? If you edit it, I don't think it prompts you to look at it. Another thing is that it doesn't prompt me to look at tests. Notice all of these things over here are assignments. It doesn't tell me when people have submitted tests. So I have to go dig through the tests and make sure, you know, there's not one that I have to grade. I'm getting used to it, but it is new to me. So please just be patient with me in respect to that. What other questions do you guys have? This is kind of fun. Because if you don't have questions, I am going back and looking at the test, Ishan. I'm just trying to understand completely what your question is. Some that were new to what we were learning prior to the test. Can you explain that last part just a little more so that I can understand it clearly? I'm not sure that, like, are you saying that the test contained material that you had not yet studied? And Luke, back to your question. So the sentences that you're doing on los segmentos de tiempo, we've got to put it in perspective of what we're covering in that unit. That's what I'm going for right now, Luke. Okay, so if we go into modules, the reason I'm doing this is to make sure that everybody is looking at all of the course content. That's why I'm going in like this. Okay, there, it's spread out a little more. Here we go. So every day when you come in, don't just, okay, let me go back into modules. What I don't want you to do is come in here and just click on the assignments, okay? Because you're not going to get a full description of what you need to be doing for your assignments, and therefore you're not going to get the best grades that you possibly could. So when we get to los segmentos de tiempo, and some of us aren't quite that far, and that's totally fine, but this will help you when you get there. You want to make sure that you're clicking on these links. Now, the first link is the standards alignment. The part where it says complete page such and such to such and such, you definitely want to go in there because this is your course content. This right here in front of you is your course content. And you want to come in here and go page by page. Right? These key terms, oftentimes they show up on quizzes and tests. So you want to make sure you look at them. So there's your vocab, and I have Quizlet sets of all of our vocabulary. So if you want that, reach out to me. Actually, I think I have it listed. I might have it listed in resources, but I know that I put up a an announcement with the information. So you can either email me or you can go into the announcements and take a look, or you can go into the course resources and take a look. Oh, lunes. So this is where we find all of our material, right? And if you're looking through all of this, I say all of this, Luke, to say that the things that we go over in this course content is what you're expected to use on your vocabulary project, right? So let's get to that project. So we cover the preterite tense. So when you do your vocabulary assignment, you're going to want to focus on the vocab that's in this unit or module, the grammar that's in this module. So the vocab is like last Sunday, tomorrow morning, you know, that kind of thing. So you're setting yourself up to use different tenses. Now let's find that requirements. Here we go. So you want to make sure that you're using both the vocabulary and the grammar from this unit. It doesn't have to be strictly the grammar. So like if you're going to use Let's go back and take a look at that vocab. She's going to talk again. Okay. So when we say like mañana, obviously we're not setting ourselves up to talk about the past, right? We're going to talk about we're going to talk in simple not in simple future. We're going to talk using the ir plus a plus an infinitive, right? Yo voy a leer un libro mañana. I'm going to read a book tomorrow, right? But then other things are going to trigger you to use the preterite, like ayer por la mañana, yesterday morning. So you can say, yesterday morning, I woke up at 5. Ayer por la mañana me desperté a las 5. And so you could do something like go through your day yesterday and maybe, a little something about tomorrow since it has things that, happen in the future. But really, what they want you to do is use the past tense and that vocab. So let's look at our options and see which one. You can do a presentation. And when you do the presentation, you don't have to talk about anything specific, but you could talk about things like, let's see, like a daily schedule. Or you can talk about, so this brings me into talking about when preterite is used, and I can pull up my PowerPoint for today, or actually, it's a Google Slides. Same thing, right? And just talk about, anything that happened as a succession of events, because that's when the preterite is used. So it's used when we would use ed on the end of a verb in English. Usually, that would be the same as preterite, but there are some specifics to it. If it's an event that has a specific start and end, or start and end, for example, it started raining, right? I'm going to use the preterite tense. If it's events named in succession, like this happened and then that happened and then that happened, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I got dressed, etc., then that's going to be the preterite tense. Or what is the last one? If it happened during a specific time, like I worked in Cherokee County for 2 years, because I named that time, the time frame, that's going to be preterite. Does that make sense? So these are the that you're going to want to put in that presentation. It's not going to be specific to a theme like it has been up to now, the professions and the family. That was very specific. You talked about your family and what they do. Easy. This one is very vague. So I can see why you're wondering what in the world you're supposed to do. Or you could create a video where you teach us about the grammar. Huh? I would be so happy if somebody really did that. Or a comic strip, of course. And a comic strip might make it a little more difficult to use the preterite, but you could be creative, That's a good question. Savannah, let's see if it gives us that information here. I believe it says the total sentences. I don't think it says how many have to be in the preterite. Down here it says 7 to 8 sentences. Let's look up here. Sometimes they give us descriptions up here that I skip past. Include sentences using the vocabulary and grammar correctly in context. So that doesn't give us how many. Create questions, a total of 16. Yeah, it doesn't tell us how many have to be. Usually for me, it has to be more than half, because if it's not more than half, it doesn't give me a great look at it. And honestly, the more you do, the better, because if let's say you make a mistake on some of the irregular preterite, because there's a lot of irregular preterite. If you make an error, then you're going to get counted down a little bit. But if the rest of your sentences are in preterite and they're done correctly, then that would stop me from counting off so much, if that makes sense, because you've given me a broader look at the fact that you know what you're doing in the preterite tense. So the more the better. Let me scroll up. I missed. Trevor, do you mean the when you say elaborate on the grammar, do you mean on that particular topic that we're learning in this module? I see. I see. I see your previous comment. I didn't scroll up far enough, I think. So if you used the vocabulary, but you did not use the grammar, this is a good opportunity for us to take a look at the rubric, right? So let me click over here. Oh, of course it's sideways. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So you would get marked down if you just do the vocab and you don't do the grammar, then you're going to get marked off probably in two places here. You're going to get marked off in task completion because the instructions required that you use the grammar, right? And usually if you don't do it at all, it might come all the way down to a 1. If you do it like less than half, you're going to come down to a 2. If you're, half or a little more, 3. And if you use it the whole way through, probably a 4. But, task completion can also be, did you include your audio? Did you include 16 vocabulary words? Although vocab is mostly just down here at the bottom. And then language control, if you're not trying the new grammar, then I have to mark you off in language control because you're not trying the structures that we're using, that we're doing. And unfortunately right now, because we're so new to Spanish, mostly everything we learn is basic structure. How about now? There we go. Where did I cut off? I don't know what happened. I might have clicked that by accident. Let's see if I do this, if it will work. Okay. So let's pretend that we're going to discuss what we did yesterday, because I don't know if we've done. Have you guys done reflexive verbs? Did you do those in Spanish 1? Okay. So let's just talk about like a trip to the beach or something, or I don't know. We need a succession of events. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to give you I don't want to try to do something that is, too complicated. But doing preterite and reflexives would be a bit of a pain. So let's get some kids playing at a park. If I were you, I would literally come to Google and pick out this is kind of my go-to way for the vocab projects. Now, does anybody know why I would expect you to have pictures? Why is it important for us to put images on our vocab project? I will, Luke. Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a look. It does indicate what the sentence is about. It is comprehensive learning. And that's exactly what I was going for, Saida, is that when your brain, first of all, your brain, I don't know if you guys know this, your brain likes images more than it likes words. So it's going to be really important that you associate your vocabulary with pictures, because that's how you're going to build a stronger memory, right? And that's why we do these vocabulary projects, because honestly, you're going to remember it more if you have those images with it. And also, I don't know if you've ever been around someone that's truly bilingual, or like, a group of people that are truly bilingual and they're talking to each other. And you'll hear them cut out from one language and go to the other, and then they go back and forth. So like if I'm speaking to my coworkers at school, many times we'll speak, half of the conversation in English, but we'll go over to Spanish and then back to English. Like we go back and forth. But that's because the things that we know in Spanish and in English are concepts rather than a translation. Okay. And when your brain understands a concept of something instead of just a translation, then it's like you can express yourself better in one language or the other. And eventually you'll get there. So, like, I started learning Spanish as a freshman in high school. So, I had never taken a Spanish class. My parents aren't Hispanic. Nobody else in my family speaks Spanish except my oldest son. So, like, it's possible to reach fluency, but you have to focus a lot on um, the concept rather than the translation, if that makes sense. Let's try to find one where they're playing some sports. I know we know sports words, right? Come on, kids. There's no kids over here playing different sports. Maybe I need to be more specific. Kids, not kinds, kids playing different sports in a park. Here we go. I don't know if we know how to say jump rope. Thought we had a good one. Here we go. There's a basketball, skateboard, a bike. Can't we get a soccer up in here? Ah, well, we can mention things that aren't exactly in the picture. Ooh, I hate it when I get one with the watermark, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. And we can talk about, I don't know, I guess they're playing tennis on grass, which is odd. I don't know. So we can talk about tennis. We can talk about riding a bike. They're in a park, so we can talk about that. We can talk about playing soccer. Okay, we got this. So it's badminton. We're going to pretend that it's tennis because I don't know about some badminton in Spanish. But I think that's a ball right there. Either way. Okay, so let's do, okay, here's what I would do. I would copy this image, and then I would, ooh, we have this open. So I lied about the title, but here we go. We're going to go with it. We're going to just type as many sentences as we can about this picture until we exhaust what we know. Okay. Now, we know we have to use vocabulary. So let's come back and look at our vocab. Plug your ears because I've got to shut her down a couple times. Okay. Let's use, I heard her say, el fin de semana pasado, last weekend, right? So let's come back into our document. We're going to say, el fin de semana pasado. And then we'll say, I went to the park with my friends. Yo fui al parque. Oops, I have to be able to type to do this. Parque con mis amigos, right? So now we have, here's one preterite tense. We'll mark it in, maybe we will. Come on. Mark it in red and we'll underline this. So there's there's a vocab phrase and a past tense verb, right? So then we can say, my, I don't know. We're going to say, I played tennis or we played tennis. We can say that. And I know it's badminton, but I don't know that word. Do you know that word, Saida? ¿Cómo se dice badminton en español? I gotta figure out how to see my chat and do this. Así se dice. Badminton. Badminton. Okay, I guess we'll use badminton since Brandon wanted it. Or was it Luke? I don't even remember. Or A. So badminton or badminton. Probably over the A, right? Because naturally it would fall over the O. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Oh, why did I put just that word? Let's say we played. Jugamos. I forgot my accent mark. Okay, I'm a little confused on what you mean by using a preterite in this sentence. Okay, so preterite is a verb tense. And that it's the past tense. It's the past tense in Spanish, or the simple past tense in Spanish. Ooh, I have a document open that I could share with you guys. Let's finish this for people that want a good example of what we would do for the vocabulary and grammar project, and then we'll do a little quick review over the preterite. So if you're not this far though, if you haven't reached this chapter, then you won't know much. Well, that would be the vocab. That's the vocabulary, those terms. But the preterite is the verb conjugation to put it in the past tense. Jugamos badminton. Do I want to say anything else? Let's look for a different vocab word to put in this. First. Excellent, Brandon. Gosh, you guys are on it. Jugamos badminton primero. What's next? Oops, wrong tab. Then we can say then, right? Yeah, look at you guys. Oops. And then I say entonces. How about I say my friend played soccer? Mi amiga, we'll pretend that those girls are the same. Mi amiga jugó fútbol. No, you can't use our sentences that we do together. Nice try. Let's see. There's a little boy riding his bike. Let's see if there's a vocab phrase we could use for that. How about in the afternoon, there was a boy, or in the afternoon, a boy rode his bike. En la tarde, un niño montó en su bicicleta. What else? Is there anything else we can say about this picture? We might be, and you can be as basic as you need to be. I think that's what kids get caught up in. You want to sound like you're 16 years old, in Spanish, but we're only like 10. We're only like 9. Some of us maybe like 6, you know? We have it's going to sound like that for a while, and it's okay because we need to the more we speak in the language and use the language, the more the habit is created. And so that's how little kids when they learn to speak their first language, that's how they learn because they hear it over and over and over again. It's that practice. Aw, that's good. Can I use non-irregular preterite verbs? Yeah, absolutely. Any preterite is good. The regular verbs are perfectly fine. And notice that most of mine, I think fui, yeah, fui is irregular, but the rest of them were regular. So in this particular unit though, you guys are learning about what I like to call juvie verbs. You guys ready to hear about the juvie verbs? These verbs are this might be kind of difficult for some. Let's not get the direct instruction for it yet, but I do want you to hear my amazing march that I did today, okay? Let me see. Let me see if I can play it. Trying to figure out how it would be best to bring it up. Let me Yes, Savannah. So we'll add to our foldable next week. And those of you that haven't been coming, you can watch the videos and catch up. We made a foldable so that we can collect the information for all of our grammar, basically, all together. And we've been working on the preterite for 2 weeks now. So we added ser, ir, dar, and ver, which are irregulars. We added all the regular endings first, of course, and we added kargar zars. So this week in the grammar, if we go back here, let's go to the grammar. Nope. Get off, hurry. Hurry before the speaking talks. Okay. So the verb tener, estar, and decir, querer. Oh my goodness. It gives all of them. Oh my gosh. Let me show you my song because it covers all of those. Songs are one of the greatest things you can do for your brain. Think about when you listen to the radio, if you're a radio listener, you listen to songs, sometimes you hear songs that you don't even like that much, but you know all the words to them because your brain connects all of those words together. So it's all one memory instead of random different memories. So where I did an irregular preterite march. That's a great question, Luke. Hey, ladies, Savannah and Saida, did you guys watch Silvana Sin Lana? I made it to the end of the second episode. I didn't make it to the third one. So for those of you that plan on coming, we've decided that we're going to. Oh, good, Graciela. We decided that we're going to watch a telenovela together. And so we've been watching one from Netflix called Silvana Sin Lana. And we haven't yet talked about it because we just discussed it. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to be sorry. You can come whenever you want to. It will help, We just decided that we'd watch it kind of for fun.
That was awesome.
And then we'd be able to come back together and talk about it. So we've watched so far 2 episodes.
Yes,
well,
we are.
I've watched 2 episodes, but we were supposed to watch 3. So I fail.
It's
I'm
a little
have to take an
chant
L on that last
for
one.
the
But I did
verbs
watch
that
2
I
episodes,
call them,
and I like it so far. It's kind of cute. I call them juvie verbs because they're irregular, but they carry a pattern. Okay, so there you go. Savannah, it's a proven fact, and it does work. It's crazy, but it works. I promise. But I made that because there's these irregular verbs, and they're irregular, but they still have a pattern to them. Let me see if I still have this. Okay, perfect. Of course, Luke. Have a good night. So for those of you struggling with the preterite tense, I have this little one-page document, but I would still rather you do the flip chart with us because then everything is accessible. Like you can navigate to the place within your flip chart and identify what is where. This right here just shows all of the different aspects, I guess, of the preterite tense. So right here we have the regular verb conjugations, right? For AR verbs and for ER and IR verbs. I'm sorry if you heard that ding. It's highly annoying. So the AR comes completely down, ER, IR down on this side. And then over here, there is in the bottom left, there's the rule of Y changers. So basically, if when you conjugate a verb in the preterite tense, in the él, ella, usted form and ellos, ellas, ustedes form, if when you conjugate it, the ending or well, the verb itself has 3 vowels together and the middle vowel is an I, the I changes to a Y. And then if we go up here to the top, these are the verbs right now that we just heard in that song. And I don't know if you saw it, but I did put the link to it in the chat. And you are welcome to use that. Actually, it has a little bit more to the video than just the chant. It tells you I made that video for my, face to face, but it talks about when you use the preterite tense. Now, it was made for a Spanish 3 class. So I talk about those things as if they are review, which clearly they're not review for you, but it's good to have that little bit of exposure. So it's not going to hurt anything if you, watch it all the way through. In fact, it might help you. So, yeah, these are the verbs that we're focused on right now. And let me see if I can use, I don't think I can use a highlighter here. I wish I would have downloaded this and opened it in Adobe, but I did not. So, I will say that there's a few verbs here that you're not going to mess with in Spanish too, just to be honest. Haber is one of them. Whoops, it's not going to let me go across. Haber, you're really not going to mess with that in Spanish too. It's just the way it is. And then caber down at the bottom, caber, to fit. You're not going to mess with that one in Spanish too either. So the other verbs in that situation are what I like to call the juvie verbs. And I call them juvie because they make a specific change. Some of their ¿cómo se llaman? Some of their stems. Gosh, words are escaping me. The later it gets, the worse it gets, guys. I think it's like dementia. Just kidding. Some of them change into a J, like parts of them. So if you look at, let's find a J changer in here. Oh, the J changers are down here at the bottom. I'm silly. So decir, for example, it changes to a J. Dije is the yo form, right? Traje is the yo form of traer. And they put those down here because they have one extra irregularity, and that's in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. You drop the I in that ending. I'm glad you said that. I keep random resources, and so I can send this to you guys if you would like. But yeah, and this actually, it has other stuff on it too. It has a summary of the, oh, nice. It has a summary of the present tense, and it goes into what they call the descriptive past, which is the second past tense. And we will get there to this second past tense, but I don't think that happens this semester, if I remember correctly, but I'm not positive. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, so you have the absolutely. I can send this to you. It's a document. I think I have it in a Google Drive, but I did download it to my computer, so I should be able just to email it to you guys. Let's see. So yeah, the J changers and then U changers are like supe and pude and puse, because see those verbs have, well, saber has an A, poder and poner have an O, but they change to a U in the stem. So I call those the U changers. The V changers are andar, estar, and tener. Anduve, estuve, and tuve. Perfect. Absolutely. I'll probably send it to the whole class just so everybody has it. Absolutely. Thanks for coming tonight, Trevor. Yes, absolutely. I'll send it. And this, it will help you. Even, and guys, even if you have to use this when you're doing your assignments, it's a resource. You have to know how to navigate it to be able to get it right. So you're not doing anything wrong using this. You know, any of your materials that we work on in class, your flip charts, it's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to use your resources, and we've given you those for a purpose. So don't feel bad doing that. But yeah, so these right here, the patterned irregulars, those are the ones we're working on right now. That link to the song will help you with the yo form. And so as long as you know the yo form and you know your endings, then you should be just fine. You should be able to conjugate it into any of the other forms, right? So that's the thought process behind the song, you know. Yes. Yes, exactly. These endings here, yes. So that's yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Yes, so you have it perfect. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? I know I've had you on here for a little bit over an hour, and that's usually how we roll. Not that I mean to, I think I talk a lot. We covered a lot of information tonight, guys. Of course, Savannah. I'm going to try to get this sent tonight before I log off so that everybody has it. But I will probably just send it to the entire class just to, make it easier. So it'll come to your Georgia virtual email. I'll see you next week, Savannah. So before you go, which should we do episodes 3 and 4 since I'm a loser and I didn't get 3 done? Of course, Ida. And Claire. Oh, I missed her. Thank you. You're welcome. And anybody else that wants to join us, you watched it already, Graciela. We were supposed to watch until I had it in my head we were only going to 3. Gosh, I'm awful. Well, I have to catch up. Then I guess I'll watch until 5. Brandon, we've been watching we're trying to watch a telenovela together, but to be honest, I'm awful about it. And I didn't do my homework and I didn't watch the telenovela, not all of it. Have a good night, Savannah. Oh, you make dinner for your family? Brandon, if you want to watch it with us, I'll put the name of it in. Silvana Sin Lana. And it's on Netflix. La casa de mi padre. That's a really funny movie, but it's ridiculous. Bye, Saida. Thank you. Como siempre. It is fun. Will Ferrell is special to me. Like I love him. Him and what's the other guy? Adam Sandler. Of course, Ishan. It was good to have you in class again. We missed you for a week or 2, maybe. Me too, Brandon. It's ridiculous humor, but it's so funny. I just can't help it. Adios. I'll see you guys next week, okay? Graciela, you're ahead of us. Don't watch ahead too far. What am I saying? I shouldn't be telling you not to watch ahead. It's actually awesome that you're watching it. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're good. I'm going to start watching it more because it was actually cute. So, now I'm a little more motivated. It is funny. Okay, I'll see you next week, Graciela. Igualmente. Nos vemos.